Both teams out of the tunnel, and we're not far away from getting the action started. Good afternoon and welcome to NPL Women's New South Wales. Round 13. We are at the halfway point of the season. But as far as the home team, Northwest Sydney Spirit, are concerned, it is only just starting. A massively overhauled lineup for this afternoon's clash, filled with returning players from the A-League Women's and also the Young Matildas. And they take on a Gladesville Ravens team in need of a bounce back after a defeat 5-1 last Sunday against Sydney Olympic. Certainly as far as the Spirit are concerned, they're winless this season. In fact, they don't have a single point in the club championship. They have 207 left to play for after they were defeated 3-1 in the under-23s earlier today. Of course, relegation is determined by the club championship. You get 4x points for your seniors and the same points tally as your under-23s. The issue for Spirit is they haven't accumulated a single point yet, although their results have been getting steadily better since the arrival of Dan Barrett as coach. And now, after the end of an international break for the Young Matildas and a number of new acquisitions from the A-League Women's, he is ready to see what this team is capable of as they try to pull off what truly would be one of the great escapes. Both teams out on the surface on what is a sunny 20-degree day with only light winds at Christie Park. It's definitely not the Arctic Circle this afternoon. In fact, you probably couldn't ask for better conditions, especially if the sun does duck behind a cloud, of which there are not many, it must be said. Handshakes going on in the middle between the captains and referees, so let's get into the lineups for both teams. Mass changes for Spirit after last week's 3-1 defeat to Manly United. Tiana Robertson will start in goal wearing number 12. 3, Erin Pridmore. 5, Olivia Page. 6, Ruby Sullivan. 7, Avani Prakash. 9, Sky Halmerick. 10, Ella Abdul-Masih. 19, Frankie Morrow, last week's goal scorer. 20, Tiana Fuller. 26, Alexia Fauna. And 30, Naomi Chinema. On the bench for Spirit, 1, Jasmine Selva. 4, Shani Cooney-Cross. 8, India Breyer. 11, Michaela Gavranich. 16, Grace Attard. 23, Laura Wilson. And 27, Andrea Plaches. For the Gladesville Ravens, this is their home ground, but they are the away team this afternoon. New goalkeeper for them this week as well. 38, Brianna Edwards is between the sticks. And then outfielders 2, Annie Dashko. 6, Gisela Pepino. 8, Annie Halls. 10, Hannah McNulty. 11, Morgan Roberts. 14, Teal Kilbride. 16, Josie Allen. 19, Lena Karmas. 31, Zoe Karapetis. And 34, Claire Adams. And on the bench for Gladesville, backup goalkeeper in the number 1 shirt, Eliza Coleman. 4, Keisha Allen. 12, Angelina Scamardella. 17, Kaylee Shannon. 33, Phoebe Riley. 39, Miku Sanaga. And 54, Fawari Tabata. So for those of you tuning in, not familiar with the teams, it is Gladesville in the black and white stripes and Spirit in the yellow with black shorts and yellow socks. And it will be Gladesville kicking off, attacking the left of your screens in this first half. Round 13 of NPL Women's New South Wales. And we will be at the halfway mark of the home and away season at the end of this round. And that whistle gets us started. So is the big turnaround on the way here for Spirit as we get the action started at Christie Park. And in the early exchanges, it's Josie Allen, one of the players back from the A-League that's playing a pass down the left here. She came off the bench last week. It was a 1-1 scoreline at halftime, and in fact, Gladesville were looking all right against Sydney Olympic before they were rocked in the second half. Olympic scoring 4 goals uncontested last Sunday, winning 5-1. And a very different-looking Spirit team were quite competitive, taking the lead against Manly United, only to be overrun themselves 3-1 up at Cromer Park on Friday. So they've had also 2 extra days break coming into this game, but a very different-looking 11. Here's Olivia Page, one of the Kiwi connections, playing the ball down the left flank. Contest in midfield, Gisela Pepino stealing in to try and pick the pocket of Sky Halmerick, but giving away a free kick in doing so. Now at the centre of defence, Erin Pridmore Out to the right, Ruby Sullivan. Now the long ball here, Annie Dashko is going to watch that back to the new goalkeeper. Brianna Edwards has been on the fringes of New Zealand senior national team selection over the course of her career, and was most recently at the Western Sydney Wanderers in the A-League Women's, although didn't play as the number one keeper over the summer season. Here's backtracking from Teal Kilbride, and with a bit of momentum behind the ball, she's not able to usher it out without a touch. It's gone behind for a first corner kick of the game, so Spirit will commit plenty of numbers forward. Chinema standing next to Pridmore in defence, along with Page. Three pretty good aerial options here for the corner taker to aim for. Spirit have only scored 7 for the entire season. Can they net here? Well, it glances through the penalty box. It looked like it might have taken a touch of a Ravens player, but the referee says otherwise. And it is a goal kick after 2 minutes. The first corner of the game is seen off. Referee for this one is Brooklyn Fawcett, and assistants Dominique Ashton and Luke Calder. Gladesville have had their own struggles. They're on 4 wins, 1 draw and 7 losses for the campaign, sitting in 11th place of 14. Not where they would have wanted to be at this point of the season, given the seniority of their team, and never mind the resumes and achievements of many of their players. Part of winning teams, primarily at the MacArthur Rams in seasons past. So we see Robertson with a clearance that's been flicked on here. Ella Abdul-Masih advancing onto the ball, has options on the right. And here's the cross cut into the box and defended behind by Karapetis. And Frankie Morrow, another of the New Zealand connections in the game, able to draw a corner kick. So second corner of the afternoon for Spirit here. We're going to see Alexia Fauna, who's moved over in the transfer window from Manly United, taking the corner kick. Skims off the pack. Pepino will be first to the ball, but she's a lone hand leading a counter here. There's no one breaking forward with her. Olivia Page back in earnest, chasing Pepino, trying to keep close control of the ball, and Page eventually untangles things and plays it back. And the defence will consolidate here. Chinema across to Sullivan. Amongst all the names that have come into this Spirit team from a higher level, watch out for Fauna. Very handy contributor to Manly United for a number of seasons, particularly in dead ball situations like free kicks and corners. Here's Zoe Karapetis on the ball now for Gladesville. Karapetis cuts the ball into the box, and Fauna is in the right spot to drive it behind, and now it's Gladesville's turn for their first corner of the game as they attack towards the club room's end here at Christie Park. Claire Adams, one of a string of Newcastle Jets that have come back to the NPL to play in this competition that are involved in today's game, will take the corner kick. And that is an anticlimax as it lands on the roof of Tiana Robertson's net, so she won't have to worry too much about that. Both teams, you wouldn't know it's 11th versus dead last at the moment. Two pretty handy teams out there on the pitch today with lots of quality players, including this one here, Ravani Prakash, but she's caught in possession. Adams able to win the ball, cuts it across. Pepino can't take possession. And now breaking out of the defensive half is Fauna. Surveying her options here. It's got Morrow over on the right, but wants to settle and play the ball back to Sullivan. Now Fauna has Pridmore. Over to Chinema. Out to the left flank, Page. Ellen Abdul-Masih. Back to Olivia Page. Sky Helmerick playing back to goal at centre forward. Square pass. Sullivan advancing. Now Frankie Morrow. Morrow steered away from the penalty box by Karapetis. And the pass from Fauna is intercepted by Josie Allen. Has Karmas ahead of the ball. Karmas and Chinema. And Karmas is able to draw a free kick. So good work from the veteran former Matilda. Went to the 2015 World Cup. Karmas, in more recent years, has been a great contributor in the NPL, winning the championship a couple of seasons ago at MacArthur Rams, and last season playing with the Mount Druitt Town Rangers after helping them get promoted. Now she finds herself at Gladesville. Free kick to be taken by Annie Dashko. Dashko dropping it at the edge of the 6-yard box. And Tiana Robertson, she might be diminutive in stature, but she's very good at reading the ball in the air. And comes out to take a good, confident catch and stop that free kick from creating havoc. First time pass around the corner. Dashko getting tunnelled by Halmerick. Pepino, now Prakash. Ivani Prakash trying to get the ball to settle on the synthetic surface. Working with Ella Abdul-Masih. Now Page, diagonal ball. Over to Morrow. Morrow, one-on-one against Karapetis. Ushered towards the line. Morrow's cross into the box. And then cleared away. Gets a second crack at it. Annie Halls intercepts. Headed from Pridmore. Now ball out to the left. Josie Allen keeps it in. We know she's got a great burst of speed. Allen. Karmas. Square pass. Anticipated and intercepted. Morrow. Karapetis right on her case. Allen. Pepino, a quick 1-2. Josie Allen tried one more pass. Now goes for the shot. Just scooped it on the left foot. On target, but Tiana Robertson able to hold on. It'll be a throw in for the Gladesville Ravens over on the right side. Pepino gets a look at the target here, cuts it back. Allen volleys to herself and then on target again, but not really able to test Tiana Robertson with the strike. A couple of shots in quick succession for Josie Allen, but Gladesville not creating any real panic in the Spirit defence. As we see a back pass here from Karapetis down to Edwards. Brianna Edwards to Annie Halls. Balls in defensive midfield. Pepino trying to turn away from Fauna. Those two would know each other particularly well, battling not just in full field football but futsal as well. Pepino, a member of the national women's futsal team. Here's a long ball from Pridmore for Abdul-Masih to chase, and coming up to the edge of the penalty area for the collect is Edwards. Rolling it out immediately to Teal Kilbride. Kilbride's ball, volleyed down by Page. Edwards. Chinema. Working in combination with Page here, but Adams determined to win the ball, and Olivia Page blown up for the foul there. Of course, those two would have been squaring off all summer in training sessions at the Newcastle Jets, where Page played her first season at A-League women's level, coming across from the United Kingdom. She was playing at Sheffield United. Previously played all her football in New Zealand. Pridmore clears from the centre of defence. Over the head of Fuller. And Morgan Roberts backtracking here. And now Fuller trying to capitalise on a shallow pass. And chasing the ball down towards the corner flag, and the line is just going to win down in the corner. We haven't seen much of that duel yet. Two real speedsters on the same wing. Fuller of Spirit and Morgan Roberts former Spirit player. He's been at the Gladesville Ravens for a couple of seasons now. Adams in traffic. Fauna holding her ground against Pepino. Sullivan. Chinema. Now Page. Olivia Page trying to work through a gap, and the Gladesville defence is closed, and ultimately Roberts did well to stop Olivia Page from just bursting straight through that gap in two defenders. Pepino kept her feet as Halmerick went to ground. Now Karmas. Fauna able to win the ball away in the tackle. Very crowded midfield at the moment. Avani Prakash is going to work into some space. Sullivan. Now Abdul Massi. Edge of the box. Halmerick. Turning her marker. Sky Halmerick with a strike, and what a good save from Brianna Edwards. Fingertips around the post. And that was honing in on the bottom left corner as Halmerick shot towards the target. And Brianna Edwards at full stretch, able to tip the ball away for a corner kick. That's the threat to goal that the reigning gold medalist and top scorer has in Sky Halmerick. Here's the corner, flat, driven. Halmerick attempting a volley. High degree of difficulty, though, and cleared away by McNulty. Spirit trying to just take over general play. Gladesville have had a couple of moments through Josie Allen, and they were creating more of the chances in the first 10 minutes, but Spirit now have had the best opportunity of either team to score in the game. Trying to take over the possession and territory battle. Sullivan, an incisive pass. Abdul Massi, and Adams pleads innocence, but not enough to prevent the referee awarding a free kick here in very dangerous territory. Wonder if Tiana Fuller and her left foot might have an interest in this, or whether it will be Alexia Fauna pulling rank here. A great set-piece opportunity for Spirit. And Ella Abdul Massi is going to stand right there as well. Maybe she's the one who fancies her chances here. 3 in the wall. Pack of players waiting to follow in, but I think Ella Abdul Massi has eyes only for the target here. Abdul Massi with a low drive, and it did require a save in the end from Edwards. Down to her right, it may have been swinging wide of the left-hand post, but Edwards not taking any risks and putting it behind for another corner kick. Big pack of players to aim for here with the corner. High to the back post, and that's a waste of a corner, that one landing on the roof of the net. But Brianna Edwards, you know what an outstanding goalkeeper she is. We're seeing it already today. 2 top stops in these early exchanges. We're only 15 and a half minutes in. She's the reason this game is 0-0. Karmas hooks a volley round the corner. McNulty trying to break. Gladesville on the move. Inside for Pepino. Back to McNulty on the right. McNulty with a deflected strike. And it's blocked behind by Page, but that was far better from Ravens as they moved forward. Able to pass their way through the Spirit midfield there. So a corner kick on the way to be taken by Claire Adams. Suggests that Spirit have a height advantage in this game, but it's not definitive. Corner tumbling in at the near post. Sullivan making sure her arm didn't touch the ball as she bodied it away. Bouncing into the box, clearance, and it's found Fauna, and that's going to allow a counter attack to materialise here. Diagonal ball, hoping to find Tiana Fuller on the break, but Karapetis was well placed to step in and intercept. Spirit with plenty of players planted in the attacking half, and so Edwards is going to bypass all of them. Go high, but the header is won away by Page. Allen through the right channel. Morgan Roberts breaking forward. Eyes what's on in the middle, and then tries to go for it on a tight angle. I suspect that was a deliberate shot rather than a miss-hit cross, but it's ended up going well wide of the target in the end. But a couple of promising signs here for Gladesville, particularly down the right flank. Here's Pridmore. And Prakash. Instant whistle there for a little ankle tap from Adams, who protests to the referee, but Avani Prakash, so fleet-footed, draws a lot of fouls and probably gets fouled a lot more than the referee ever pays game to game. As the ball runs long, out for a goal kick at the opposite end. Kilbride here with a long ball. No one to aim for, really. Sullivan comes across. Pepino. And Chinema. Only as far as Roberts. Oh, and had McNulty for company out on the wing, but the ball slides out for a goal kick as they weren't on the same wavelength there. '20th minute. And the game scoreless. Not for a lack of trying by both teams. It feels like one goal might bring on quite a few more today. Week before last, Spirit were involved in a wild 8-3 scoreline as they lost against University of New South Wales. They were 6-0 down in that game, pulled it back to 6-3. And then NSW steadied to go on and win 8-3. Fauna, Prakash. Here's Morrow. Frankie Morrow with a left-footed cross. Pop up an underheader from Roberts. It's going to bounce for Halmerick. Halmerick goes to work, tries to hook over the shoulder. And I don't think that was the full extent of an attempt on target, more just trying to win possession against the defender as it slides out for a goal kick. Kamas. Pop-up header. Pepino. Kamas working in midfield. Wants to get back to lead the line at centre forward. Pepino rides the challenge of Chinema. Adams flashes a pass, but intercepted over on the left side of centre back by Sullivan. And now Halmerick on the turn. Second ball's there to be won. Pepino breaks even and then hauls to Adams, and now Josie Allen. Can she go to work here against Sullivan? Allen, Jags left, is feigning to shoot, turns onto her right, and then blocked by Pridmore. Claire Adams with the follow-up, blocked by Chittimer. Couple of big blocks from the Spirit defence. Ignore the whistle, that one was coming from the second pitch, so the players keep sprinting. And Edwards out of her line, stopping Frankie Morrow getting a run at that loose ball there. Here's Pridmore. Cross to the penalty spot. Halmerick rolls her marker, and then Kilbright recovers to deflect it out for another corner. Sky Halmerick, Spirit very happy to play into her back to goal, and she is really going to work against this Gladesville defence. She'll feel as though she's done enough to score already. Denied by an excellent save from Brianna Edwards. And so Alexia Fauna has had a few corners now to find her range. Can she put this one on her teammate's head? Alexia Fauna. Punched initially by Edwards. Halmerick used her strength well, and the referee's going to whistle play to a stop. Maybe seeing a foul prior to that one-on-one contest, and it was Roberts who was knocked. She refines her feet here, so Gladesville receive a free kick. Here's Abdul Massi running at Kilbride. Kilbride trying to stay goal side here. Abdul Massi, a little shimmy in at the near post. Dashko clears only as far as Page. Olivia Page with a strike. Was sliding off target, but Morrow will keep the attack going. Cuts it back. Fauna. Alexia Fauna from distance. Blocked by Dashko. The ball will sit up here. And that allows Edwards to advance out and dive onto the loose ball. So far, Gladesville's defence has had the answers, but they are being challenged here by Spirit. And a fine going Spirit's way. Good healthy crowd in at Christie Park. See the outer side, a lot of the seating filled, the balcony filled. Here's Pepino for Gladesville. Karapetis. Dashko, decision time. And through the left flank, Karapetis showing her speed as she breaks into the box and attempting the cutback. It's been turned out by Pridmore. So Gladesville can take another corner kick. They're getting in behind at times here. Even though a lot of the Spirit players have been teammates either at A-League or Young Matilda's level, those combinations aren't consistent across the entire 11. They're looking to pull together quickly. So Adams with the corner. And double fist away from Robertson. Karmas up for a volley. And then Chittimer answers in kind. Page. Tiana Fuller. And shut down by the backtracking Josie Allen, who then goes running right through the Spirit technical area and bench on her way back to the pitch. Halls. And now McNulty. Dispossessed by Page's challenge. Adams. And the ball won away by Fauna in midfield. Alexia Fauna. And just telegraphed the pass, and Morgan Roberts comes in and intercepts and sprints back. Counter-attack on here for Gladesville. Karmas, shoulder to shoulder against Chittimer. Roberts now from a standing start. Pridmore. Adams. It's a bit helter-skelter at the moment. Referee has put the whistle away. Legal challenge coming from Fauna there, but that pass now, only as far as Halls, and she consolidates back to Kilbride. And it wasn't a switch of wingers or fullbacks there. Abdul Masih against Dashko, trying to round the centre back and forced wide instead into the box. Halmerick on the turn, and it's a point-blank save from Edwards. Halmerick gets a second chance, and this time finds the net. And the fans at Christie Park have something to cheer on Tribe Day. A good, healthy crowd in, appreciating the work of one of their homegrowns, Sky Halmerick, who gives Spirit a 1-0 lead. And not for a lack of chances there. It was almost third time lucky. Point-blank save initially coming from Brianna Edwards, and then Halmerick able to recover the ball and prod it into the back of the net. It is just an 8th goal of the season for Spirit, but crucially, they are in the lead. And as we mentioned pre-game, they haven't picked up a single point in seniors or in the club championship. And this new-look team, trying to revive their season, have made a good start now, opening the scoring in the 27th minute. And it is from a familiar source of goals. Sky Halmerick, last season's top scorer. Gladesville looking for a response. Prakash. Blocked by Adams. Karapetis. Pepino working with Adams. Bit of space here for Gladesville if they can execute. Adams trying for the return ball, and then across came Pridmore to intercept and clear away. Brianna Edwards will be feeling a bit ripped off in goal for Gladesville. That initial save from Halmerick, arguably even better than her previous two, but the ball wasn't cleared. And thus Halmerick got another bite at it to be able to find the back of the net. Chinema. Morrow was hanging off the defensive line, stayed on side. What's on in the middle for her? She's in plenty of space to measure across. Morrow, Fuller's header, and out it goes for a goal kick. Tiana Fuller coming in from the left wing. Robertson. Off the head of Karmas, but breaking kindly enough for her opposite number. Centre forward in Sky Halmerick, playing it back to Prakash, who goes on a weaving run here. Avani Prakash now out to the left, asking a bit too much of Olivia Page, who was coming from deep at left back. And that ball finds its way out. Has been a little bit breezy, but it's not distinctly favouring either end of the pitch here at Christie Park. Today's game is the first in a double header. There's NPL men's between RPL Leichhardt and NWS Spirit coming up from 5:30 p.m. later this afternoon. So if you're settling in for a big afternoon on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel, it's a hectic day of men's actually, just the one women's contest at the moment though going on in front of us. All the rest of the round's action tomorrow on Sunday. Here's Fuller. Up against Roberts, able to find a way through. Tiana Fuller runs onto a tight angle, and it's clawed out. Edwards again at large, able to save it behind for a corner. And that's after Tiana Fuller, maybe a little cheeky, trying to beat the goalkeeper at her near post. But the reflexes were on song there from Edwards. Good chance again for Spirit. Abdul Masih will go over and take the corner kick. Short corner might be on here. Fauna's all on her own at the edge of the box, but Abdul Masih goes for a conventional delivery, and it's flicked through the area. Chinema was making a bustling run at the back post, but the ball was cleared away from her. Abdul-Masih. Sullivan. It's going to slide towards the line. Not in the airspace where Halmerick could challenge. And Edwards picks it off. Dropping on Dan Barrett from the outer side. His shouts were, take it inside. He wants his team to try and use the midfield. That's where Avani Prakash is set up. Switch of flanks here, though. They've gone from left to right in one pass. Sullivan drifting forward. Little underlapping run from Page. Tries to turn on the ball, but just a little bit hard against the line and not able to keep it in. Perhaps understandable, though, that Spirit want to start working through the middle. They do seem to have the ascendancy in the middle of the park at the moment. Fauna and Prakash have spent plenty of time on the ball. Can't say quite as much for Annie Halls, and Lena Karmas has almost dropped a little bit deeper here so that Claire Adams can lead the line now. So maybe Gladesville are adjusting on the fly to try and address that. Prakash able to round Karmas and advance forward here. Plays the pass to Halmerick. Loaded up, plenty of power in the shot, but it just kept rising. Taking aim from outside the penalty area. And again, we've seen Prakash just gliding through the midfield at times today. Just over 10 minutes of regulation until half-time. Flick header from Karmas, cleared by Fauna. Dashko against Halmerick. Cleared away by the defender. And now the sun is just popped behind a cloud, so if you have been squinting, shouts for handball here against Dashko. Halmerick. Josie Allen starting very deep in her defensive half. Igniting a counter-attack, not quite. Karmas with a miss-hit touch, which Abdul-Masih is going to take over here. Ella Abdul-Masih breaks into the box, being pursued by three defenders, and scores a brilliant solo goal. It's 2 for Spirits. And Ella Abdul-Masih just kept running, and the Ravens couldn't stick a challenge on her. And she's been able to roll in a second goal of the afternoon. And Northwest Sydney Spirits revival here. It looks on track in the 35th minute. She took possession, Ella Abdul-Masih, in the centre circle there and just glided and drifted through a central left position. And even though she had three defenders in pursuit, she wasn't able to find anyone who could stop her. And instead was able to put the finish across Brianna Edwards, and now the gauntlet is laid down here to Gladesville. They are 2-0 down. They want a foul here on Adams, but not forthcoming. She's favouring her back and remains prone on the turf, but in the meantime, Spirit are breaking away. Frankie Morrow. And in comes Karapetis, and now play will be whistled to a stop so that Adams can potentially receive some treatment here. Lena Karmas is motioning for the physio to come out, so we're going to have a little break here, and this might suit Gladesville because perhaps they need to steady here. One thing that, and I was here just as a spectator last week watching their defeat against Sydney Olympic, they made a number of positional switches and changes as they turned to the bench over the course of their 5-1 defeat to Sydney Olympic. They've gone for a different setup in defence again today. Certainly had a real handful with Sky Halmerick playing back to goal so far in this match. This week they've opted to put Morgan Roberts back in at right back, looking for her speed. Dashko in the centre. alongside Teal Kilbride, and then Zoe Karapetis over on the left side. But it's in the centre of midfield where they're having real issues at the moment, just trying to stifle the influence of Avani Prakash and Alexia Fauna, providing supply to Sky Halmerick inside the penalty area. And then you have the live wires that are running at the defence. Prakash, Abdul Massi. I haven't seen a huge amount of Tiana Fuller, and yet she had an excellent chance for a goal of her own. And she broke into the box, tried to beat Brianna Edwards at her near post. So all of those threats are starting to spark up for Spirit here, and they enjoy a 2-0 lead as a result. So Claire Adams is back on her feet, standing next to the assistant referee who's up at the halfway line. So looks as though she'll be waved back on in due course, which is good news for her. She had a bit of an injury hit summer at the Newcastle Jets. Ultimately cost her a run at making the young Matildas for the Under-20 Asian Cup, where she was only on the standby list rather than in the final squad. And she's back on now. Still just favouring what looks like her lower back. She's a pretty ferocious competitor, though, Claire Adams, so it'll take a fair bit to force her out of a game. Spirit down in attack. Sullivan. Dispossessed. Pepino. Out to the wing, asking a lot of Josie Allen, and she can't run the ball down. Here's Morrow. Back to Chinema. Pridmore got to the ball in the nick of time. Up steps Kilbride to knock over Prakash. Halmerick has got two opponents to tangle with, and Annie Halls wins the ball away, but the clearance blocked by Fuller. Not able to run it all the way in. Edwards has the ball back at feet. Another scrap at the edge of the penalty area. Gladesville just trying to stand their ground at the moment. They are under the pump a bit. Sullivan. And a miss it pass there from Fauna. Almost takes out a videographer who's filming the game down at ground level, but thankfully he's sharp to knock the ball away. Here's another Spirit junior, Ruby Sullivan, back at her local club. Morrow cuts the ball back. Halmerick biding her time. Karapetis has had enough of that. Challenges Halmerick here, and in the end, it is out for a corner kick. So Karapetis is certainly surprised by that call. It was good proactive defending from her to go and take Halmerick on, but she doesn't get any reward. The Spirit kids are using their voiceover on the outer side, which is great to see. Leading some chance. Not quite the Spirit Ultras yet. They're too young for that. Here comes the corner. Alexia Fauna bouncing at the penalty spot. Pepino first to take possession, but no one ahead of the ball. So she sends it left, and Claire Adams is going to respond. And now the counter is on here. Adams looks for another diagonal off Chinema, and Spirit were flooding back in numbers there. Tiana Fuller able to clear out towards the line. Free kick given here Spirit's way. Prakash. Fuller, return ball. Lavani Prakash will run onto it here. Square ball is on for Abdul Massi. She's got one, takes aim at a second, and that one stings the gloves, but held at the second time of asking from Edwards. Abdul Massi in the pocket, unmarked there, but couldn't put it either side of the goalkeeper. Kilbride. Pepino to Halls. McNulty. Pepino. In space here, Gisela Pepino. She's going to shoot from the edge of the box. Oh, hits the post. No luck at all for the Gladesville Ravens. Flush off the post and out of the penalty area in the blink of an eye. And now the field is flipped. Avani Prakash waiting for the right pass to appear. Just holds things up and is happy to settle it down to Olivia Page. Now Tiana Fuller from a standing start, able to skip past Roberts. And that takes on Kilbride, and Teal Kilbride stands her up and sees the ball out. But what about the chance for Gladesville? Gisela Pepino was in space, didn't resist the invitation to shoot when she was left unmarked, and very well firmly struck drive that was luckless. Maybe they can make amends here, Gladesville. Josie Allen, great one-on-one defending from Ruby Sullivan. Shuts it down and clears the ball away. One of the rising stars of Australian football, really. The youngest member of the most recent under-20 Australian national team, Ruby Sullivan, still eligible for the under-17s. She was able to win the tackle one-on-one against Allen there. Adams. Pepino. Having a good couple of minutes here, Gisela Pepino, but she thought she was being fouled, and I think the Gladesville bench agree. A couple of shouts from the sideline, but the referee doesn't oblige. Carapeta stepping up, winning the ball, and now wants to break forward here. Sullivan in pursuit, able to get goal side and just slow things down a bit. Carapeta still in possession. Josie Allen. Now Pepino. Claire Adams pops it across. Josie Allen blocked away by Sullivan. Now she stuck to her like glue there. Great defensive cover from Ruby Sullivan. Gladesville finishing the half strong though. Can they halve the deficit before the break? They've really stepped it up in the last couple of minutes. You can just see their intensity. Ball speed is starting to lift. McNulty, commitment to the ball there from Fuller. Swung in, Karmas underneath it. Headed away by Sullivan, only as far as Pepino though. Annie Halls. Dashko. Now Karapetis. Sweeping pass across the pitch, and that allows Abdul Massi to head it away. Ball through the right. Adams brings it down. Can turn in a little yard of space here. Face the penalty area. Wants Karmas and hard against the line. Good hands from Robertson to hold on. Lena Karmas was advancing, but the cross just a little bit too close to the goalkeeper. And she was able to pluck it away. Prakash. Into stoppage time at the end of the first half. No fourth official on this one, so all eyes on the central referee. Pepino, Gladesville, time of the essence here. Karmas turns onto her right, goes to ground and just tripped on the ball more than anything. And then Chinham is able to clear. Pepino. Karapetis consolidates back to Dashko. And the pass intercepted, inviting on a bit of pressure potentially. Halmerick trying to run onto Abdul Massi's pass, and good goalkeeping from Brianna Edwards out to the edge of the box, and that will do. And the Spirit turnaround has started. 45 minutes into this new look team, and they have a 2-goal lead. Sky Halmerick scored the opener. must be said, after a string of excellent saves from Brianna Edwards to keep the score at 0-0, but a second goal followed shortly after from Ella Abdulmasi. And even though Gladesville Ravens hit the post with a shot from Gisela Pepino, they have been on the back foot for a lot of the match so far, and they're the ones in need of a response here. No doubt the rest of NPL Women's New South Wales will be paying attention here, because Spirit may have come into today without a competition point, but they are on track for their first 3 in seniors, and crucially their first 12 in the club championship as things currently stand. We'll be back for the second half soon. Your halftime score from Christie Park: NWS Spirit 2, Gladesville Ravens 0. Welcome back to Christie Park, not far away from kicking off the second half of this NPL Women's New South Wales Round 13 clash. Half-time score, Northwest Sydney Spirit 2, leading at the Gladesville Ravens 0. These two co-tenants of Christie Park, but Spirit definitely making it their home today. They've got 2 goals thanks to Sky Halmerick and Ella Abdulmasih. And having cleared all the youngsters who are having a kick around at halftime off the pitch, it's Tribe Day, so a really healthy crowd in at Christie. We're not far away from getting the action back underway. And Spirit kick off, attacking the left of your screens in the second half. And do Gladesville have a comeback in them? Or will Spirit go on to claim not just their first win, but their first points after 13 rounds of the NPL women's season? Taking a look around the pitch, it doesn't appear as though there's been a halftime substitute for either team at the moment. No reason to change a winning formula for Spirit so far, but it'll be interesting to see how many minutes various players have in the legs, given that a number of them were in Young Matilda's camp last weekend. 2-match series against New Zealand's under-20s. And as far as Gladesville are concerned, they are coming off a 6-day turnaround. They played last Sunday against Sydney Olympic. Here's Naomi Chinema on the ball early in the second half, playing it across to Olivia Page. And now Abdulmasih, one of the first half goal scorers. You see Hannah McNulty shielding her eyes from the sun, as we are over here in the scaffold. There's a few clouds around, so the sun might duck behind one during phases of this second half, but we're in bright sunshine at the moment, just after 4 p.m. local time. Here's Gisela Pepino on the ball, knocked off it by a good challenge from Halmerick. 1-2 with Fauna. Halmerick driving from distance, low and flat. And Brianna Edwards better than to be beaten by that, holding on to the strike. Clearing up to halfway. Pepino. Good passing combination with Adams, but just enough from Fauna to steal the ball away. And now she's working with Avani Prakash. Halmerick touches it off. Alexia Fauna trying to slide a pass for Abdulmasih. She's got Fuller over on the left. Fuller and outpointed. Good challenge from Teal Kilbride comes in. Now Morgan Roberts. Only as far as Fuller. Towner Fuller to Ella Abdulmasih. Now Olivia Page getting forward. Block tackle. Sends the ball high. Abdulmasih is going to shoot. And a curler, but isn't able to trouble Edwards, but a couple of shots on target to start the second half here for Spirit as they look to build on their lead. Bouncing ball up into the attacking half ever so briefly. Fauna to Fuller. Fuller with a low drive. Halmerick taking possession at the edge of the box. Over to the right flank. Frankie Morrow lifts in a left-footed cross. Players losing the ball in the sun. Understandably so. Morgan Roberts read it best, and her header nearly conceding a corner, but in the end it will be just a throw. Skimming off heads into the penalty area. Halmerick. 2 defenders to contend with. Kilbride to McNulty. Not quite away though. McNulty again troubled by the sun. Couldn't spot a teammate anywhere really. And so coming in and stealing the ball away is Fuller. Now Chinema. Page. Blocked by Annie Halls. And Halls fouled. So if you've only joined us during halftime, maybe word got out about the score. Spirit on track potentially to win for the first time this season. Lineups are Tiana Robertson in goal for Spirit. Centre backs Naomi Chinema and Erin Pridmore. Right back Ruby Sullivan. Left back Olivia Page. In front of them in midfield, Alexia Fauna and Avani Prakash, along with Ella Abdulmasih as a midfield 3. And in the front 3, Tiana Fuller, Sky Halmerick and Frankie Morrow. Here's McNulty with a strike that was just off the instep. Lacked power. Now the ball is cleared away. Fuller out into space. Halmerick can go to work here. Sky Halmerick with a bit of room. Across comes Dashko. Halmerick wants her right foot. Dashko makes the block. And in the end, the presence was enough from Annie Dashko to put off Sky Halmerick there. Had the left side all to herself, but wanted to favour her right foot for the shot there. And in the end, the defender did well to scramble back and prevent another opportunity. Halls from the base of midfield out to the left. Josie Allen and Lena Karmas running after the ball. Allen takes possession. Karmas on in the middle here. Allen cut back. Pepino. And things just slow down. Spirit getting numbers back. And then a good one-on-one challenge from Pridmore to knock the ball away. Prakash. Up to Halmerick in a wrestle, and too much of a wrestle from Annie Dashko, giving away the free kick. Gladesville lineup. Brianna Edwards in goal today. Centre backs Teal Kilbride and Annie Dashko. Left back Zoe Karapetis. Right back Morgan Roberts. Midfield duo Annie Halls and Claire Adams with Gisela Pepino in front of them. And then out on the right side of midfield / wing is Hannah McNulty. More of a left winger, Josie Allen, and then centre forward, and quite isolated at times at centre forward, Lena Karmas. Case in point, pass flashes past Karmas there. All the way down to Robertson. Page. Prakash. Over to the right. Morrow has got Sullivan exploding down the right flank on the overlap. And the pass finds her here. Sullivan against Karapetis, and Karapetis' block puts the ball behind for a corner. 6 minutes into the second half. And Spirit will appreciate attacking towards their club rooms in the second half. They'll be a lot closer to the shouts and cheers of their fan base, predominantly youngsters. Players in the box, shielding their eyes from the sun. Trying to get a read on Alexia Fauna's corner here. It's going to fall to Halmerick at the edge of the box. She sends it back out to Fauna in space. Fauna, a low drive. Half volleyed into the air. Bit of backspin on the ball. And despite the best efforts of Frankie Morrow, she can't keep it in. It's out for a throw-in. Roberts up against Abdul Massi. Around the corner, only as far as Chinema. Sullivan. Shouts for a handball. Referee watches play continue. Lena Karmas in a foot race here against Olivia Page. Goes to ground and a free kick given. And it's a big decision here for the referee. What colour's the card? Well, the crowd tells the story. It's red. And this could be a big swing in the game. And Lena Karmas, the wily veteran, knew exactly what to do there. Protests continue, but it's going to be a free kick in a really dangerous position. Are we about to see some activity on the Spirit bench? Naomi Chinham has been summoned across by Dan Barrett for a briefing on what the formation's going to look like. So we're waiting for the red-carded player to leave the pitch, and my apologies, it was Erin Pridmore who's been sent off here. Page is out there. Pridmore is off. I do apologise for the mis-ID, looking into the sun like everyone else, but it is Pridmore who now has left the pitch through the gate into the rooms. And we'll see the resulting free kick here. It's over the bar, harmless in the end. And now, crucially, 11 versus 10. Two-goal buffer between the teams, but 11 versus 10. Is that going to bring new life into Gladesville? Josie Allen into the box. First time shot from Annie Halls over the bar. Doesn't seem to be any activity just yet on the Spirit bench, but looking across the pitch, subs aren't too far away for Gladesville, it seems. They're going to make a change here to chase this game. Of course, Pridmore will be suspended for one match, and you'd think one match only for the denying of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. There was nothing else in addition to that, seemingly, that would extend the length of the suspension. Be called by Brooklyn Fawcett, the referee, but had to be made. So a long-range free kick here. Plenty of numbers again committed forward for Gladesville. Dashko strikes the free kick, landing at the penalty spot, skims off two teammates' heads, Karmas and Kilbride, and there's no corner there. It's out for a goal kick. We are only 11 minutes into the second half, so there is plenty of time to go. Up steps Page, trying to dispossess Josie Allen, but she'll get a second opportunity here. Swiveling past Prakash, cross into the box. Karmas trying to roll away from Chinema, and the ball is cleared by the Spirit defence. Karapetis, and that pass runs long and out. Sullivan. Fauna. Abdulmasi's going to press against Karapetis all the way here. She's able to turn, play it down the left. Dashko, Halls. And the ball bounces out for a throw-in right in front of the Spirit substitutes. They all remain seated for now. And we're going to see the first substitution. Off comes Hannah McNulty. And over on the outer side, looks like Miku Sanaga coming on. Get confirmation of that. Indeed it is. The number 39, Miku Sanaga, comes on for Hannah McNulty. So a switch of wingers, and maybe the fresh legs of the Japanese national might be enough to spark Gladesville into finding their first goal of the game. Prakash, Chinema, Halmerick. Run coming here from Abdul Masi. Tenacity to get to the ball. Morrow on the turn. And puts it low along the ground, straight to Brianna Edwards for an easy hold. Karmas. Bouncing, looping ball. Allen. Right-footed cross. Karmas has lost the defence. It's Lena Karmas, and in the nick of time, backtracking Tiana Fuller puts it behind for a corner kick. And what looked like just a free metre for Karmas was closed down very quickly. Gladesville still hunting a goal. Adams to the edge of the box. Josie Allen, deflected strike, and looping kindly into the gloves of Tiana Robertson as a result. Halmerick, Halls, now Prakash, cleared away by Karapetis. And Pepino to Karmas, left side of the box on a very acute angle, and Page sticking to her, and now Olivia Page has stayed down, maybe just a heavy landing. She's quickly helped back to her feet by Chinema. Gladesville have a corner. Here's the corner from Adams, tumbling to the near post, dealt with by Sullivan. And Sullivan drives the clearance away. Karapetis. Karmas tries to bring it down. Chinema clears. Fauna only as far as Halls. Now Sunaga. Twists a pass back. Karmas the step over. 1-2 with Pepino. Miku Sunaga inside the box here. Lashes it into Chinema. And out for a corner again. Big block from Naomi Chinema. Pepino has taken over corner duties here. In it comes, hugging the line, and it's going to be repeat corners. And after taking the first one with her left foot, Pepino is now going to switch and take this corner with her right. Lands in the penalty box and cleared away. Sullivan again. Both teams believe it's their throw in. Assistant referee gives the signal in favour of Spirit. Central referee might have agreed with that. Massey chasing, Kilbride clears, and that looks like last touch off Fuller, and indeed the assistant referee signals as much. Roberts into Allen, ball cleared by Fauna as far as Halmerick. Pass into the middle, Karapetis steps in, and Fuller is going to watch that bounce out for another throw in. And perhaps expect to see a bit more of this. What was quite an up-tempo first half maybe is going to be replaced now with a bit more game management. Working of the clock from Spirit. Abdul Massey. Halmerick. Back to Chinema. Loose touch. Gives the ball to Sunaga. And now Karmas with a shot on sight. And it was always bending off the outside of the right foot away from the target. Halmerick wins the header. Morrow. Karapetis. Now Halls. Sunaga. Deflected pass might work out brilliantly here for Pepino. Up against Chinema, and Gisela Pepino a clap of the hands as the opportunity breaks down and the ball runs away. It's living down at Gladesville's attacking half at the moment, but they're not exactly laying siege onto Tiana Robertson's goal. Dashko with the back pass. Edwards being pressed all the way here by Abdul Massey. The sidestep was enough. And now Dashko caught in possession, and listen to the cheer from the outer side from the Spirit fans as they appreciate the hustle defending from the front. Fauna. That pass will capture deflection. Spirit staying in their attacking half. Sullivan's throw in. Morrow. Abdul-Massi. Ball living down in the corner. Throw in here to be taken by Sullivan. It's a wrestle in the corner. You'd think it was the last minute. Now the ball breaks into space. Halmerick trying to find a bit of a gap. Wrestling against Dashko and puts it into the side netting. Tried to find an opening to shoot and just didn't have any sort of angle or space to work with there. Up to the halfway line. Breaks across the pitch for Adams. Not quite able to set Roberts away because Fuller was there, but Sunaga is going to intervene. Squares across. Karmas with a strike. Hits the crossbar and it stays out. Shouts for a handball. Confusion reigns. Lena Karmas is adamant there was a handball there. And perhaps arguing also that the ball had crossed the line, but it hit the crossbar pretty flush and stayed out. And it's another escape for Spirit. I think there's no argument whether the ball crossed the line. The real shout here is, did it appear to be handled by Tiana Fuller? I mean, I've got the benefit of being able to watch it back on YouTube. It is hard to tell. Anyway, the moment has passed and the referee's decision is a goal kick. I just wonder if one of these goes in for Gladesville. Is belief going to start rippling through the team? As long as Spirit are holding on to this clean sheet, 2-goal buffer, they're the ones who are still believing it's their day. Karmas, wall pass over to Sunaga, hard against the line, trying to twist it back into play, but the momentum was just a bit too much and she couldn't keep it in. Quick 1-2 from the goal kick. And then Robertson only as far as Halls. Halls to Pepino. And the shot blocked by Page. Roberts pressing up. Deflects off Fuller. And Fuller is able to avoid conceding a corner kick. Putting out for a throw right next to the flag. Ball, as it has been ever since the red card, just living down at Gladesville's end at the moment. Roberts lifts in across. Karmas the lone target to aim for, and with a little bobble, Robertson is able to catch the cross. Diffuse the danger again. Long clearance. Kilbride over to Roberts. Fauna. And now Abdul-Massi. Prakash. Shoved off the ball by Pepino. Pepino arguing that Prakash actually initiated it, but there's a yellow card. So just the second booking of the game, first yellow card of the game, and it goes to Gisela Pepino. Ticking up to the 70th minute, so just over 20 to go. Chinema. Dashko. Josie Allen starting from deep in her defensive half. Block tackle from Fauna. Alexia Fauna. Abdelmassi's in the middle. Fauna wants to go to the right and mishits the pass. Did have the option to go left or right there, but just missed Frankie Morrow. Page's header. Kilbride. Sullivan. Now Karapetis. That's driven out by Brianna Redwoods. Karapetis takes the throw in down the line. Saints will have another throw. Karmas into the middle. Adams can execute the switch of flanks here if she wants to, because there are numbers breaking on the right. Sunaga, one of them. It's Miku Sunaga. Steps inside, and Fuller. Good one-on-one defending to hold Sunaga in her tracks. Little touch on by Abdul Massi. Tiana Fuller. First time ball. Halmerick outpointed by Kilbride. Halls concedes a bit of ground. Back to Dashko. Josie Allen tried for the flick inside, but didn't strike it how she hoped, and so Spirit retake possession. Fuller. She goes back to Chinema. Robertson running out of the penalty area to play the pass over to Page. Abdul Massi. And Halmerick offside. Gladesville defenders quick to appeal, and Halmerick's gone and knocked the ball into the net, and she done enough to draw a yellow card. She has. So first yellow card for a Spirit player, second yellow card of the game. Halmerick joins Pepino in the referee's book. Of course, if you've only just joined us, Erin Pridmore was sent off for a denying of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity foul just before the hour mark. But Gladesville have not been able to score today, be it 11 versus 11 or 11 versus 10. Dashko with the restart. Sunaga. Now Chinema. Fauna. Halmerick, first time ball. Two balls on the pitch here. One's bounced over from the outer side, and that distraction, I don't think it was a playable ball necessarily for Frankie Morrow, but the presence of a second ball there was a bit of an issue. Not sure what the referee is going to determine here, whether it's a drop ball or whether they're going to rule it was going to run out regardless. So Spirit throw was the end result. Sullivan weaving through the right, across to Abdul Massi. Trying to turn away, extracted a shot in the end, but has put it high and wide. Karapetis. Small challenge coming in from Halmerick. Kilbride up the middle. Bouncing on. Defenders a bit of a confusion, but in the end, Page made the ball her own. And clears it away. Roberts, no time wasted over the throw-in. Sunaga lifts a first-time cross. And it's bending towards Josie Allen with a right-footed shot. And it's saved by Robertson. Able to tip it over the bar. Josie Allen able to get the feet clear to fire on goal, but ended up shooting straight at Robertson. So only a corner kick for Gladesville. Corner taken short. Josie Allen. Does she shoot again? Oh, it drifted this time. It was perhaps a cross aimed at Lena Karmas, but it's cleared her by some distance and gone out. And so we're ticking to the final 15 minutes of regulation. Only the one substitution total in the game. Having said that, Spirit, they're going to take this goal kick and then they will bring on their first two subs. So we're going to see some fresh legs. Is the referee going to insist it happens now? I think it is going to happen before this goal kick here. So Sky Halmerick appears to be getting summoned, as is Alexia Fauna. So Fauna leaves the game. It looks like it's Shani Cooney-Cross who's coming on. She played a full game in the under-23s earlier today. She's on for more action here. And it's also going to be India Bryant coming on for her first appearance. Of course, a hugely successful member of the MacArthur Rams team during their championship years. Now back from A-League duty with Newcastle Jets and also Australia under-20s. Here's Chinema bringing the ball down. Fuller. Chasing it back towards the line. Chinema. So a bit of positional adjusting as well being done by Spirit as a result of the substitutions. Cooney-Cross a like for like for Fauna in a central midfield position. Bryant coming on at left back. Prakash wrestled to the ground by Adams. Free kick. Switch of flanks. Sullivan back to Page. Pepino and Chinema in the right spot to clear the ball away. So with Halmerick coming off, Ella Abdulmasih has essentially gone into the lone attacker role. And it looks like it's a 4-4-1 for the 10 players of Spirit. Karapetis. Bryant able to volley away. Great touch from Prakash to herself to control the ball now. Sets it out in front of Morrow and Karapetis has to clear away. Next sub being prepared by Gladesville, but time's against them here. Had enough football, 10 versus 11, to suggest that Spirit are managing this pretty well. The Lena Karma shot that hit the crossbar, the closest that Gladesville have come to scoring since the red card. Of course, they hit the post through Gisela Pepino in the first half, and she's unable to bring down that long ball. Chinema. Now Olivia Page. Cooney-Cross a little flat-footed, and so in comes Adams to win the ball, and now a shot on side, but not quite the velocity from Pepino to really worry Tiana Robertson, who knocks the ball down and makes an easy collect. And here's India Bryant, fresh off the bench, very natural left-footed player, and she breaks to the left and sends the ball long, hoping for Fuller. Can't quite connect. So we are going to see this change. Annie Halls is coming off for Gladesville. It looks like Kaylee Shannon coming on. I'll confirm that for you as soon as possible. Ball down in the corner in the meantime. And down at the right end as far as Spirit are concerned. They did absorb a lot of territorial disadvantage in this half, but they've brought a bit of balance back to general play. Prakash working with Abdul Massi. A third will do it here. Prakash across. Abdul Massi denied the ball. And then through comes Adams to clear. Looks like Josie Allen has been moved into a central role as well. She had been playing on the left wing for more or less the entirety of this game. Prakash. Back out to the flank. Here's Breyer. Fuller. Spirit still playing the game on their terms. Even with a player disadvantage, they've managed the situation well. Here's Prakash. Veering right. And now Morrow. Saved away by Edwards. And it will be a corner. So Spirit down the right end. Confirming that sub was Kaylee Shannon, who came on for Annie Halls, but they still haven't had a rush on it that they need here, Gladesville. 2-0 down. Spirit steering this game into the final 10 minutes now. And where previously it had been game management, we might start now to see a bit more by way of genuine time wasting or how much the referee is willing to allow. Here's the corner. High, looping, it's finding a way in, and Olivia Page has scored almost by accident. She got the last touch, didn't know a huge amount about it, but the celebrations follow. And the corner defence came unstuck there for Gladesville. And even though it is 10 versus 11, Northwest Sydney Spirit are going to win for the first time this season. Well, it was glanced in, you'd say, off the outside of the shin of Olivia Page. She was just in the right place at the right time after everyone missed the corner. You'd almost have to say herself included, but she just got a little glancing touch, and that makes it 3-0. Now, it's going to be Gladesville doing a bit of soul-searching, you'd have to say, because this is going to be, ever since they beat Apia, they've been in pretty rotten form, 3 in a row without a win now. Coming off conceding 5 against Sydney Olympic last week. Another 3 today. Here's Abdul Massi. Spirit breaking forward. Tiana Fuller with a drive. And you can hear the oohs and ahs of the fans over on the outer side as that one only just kept rising over the bar. We were almost perfectly positioned behind it. Sunaga. Cooney cross. Block tackle from Josie Allen. Roberts. The sun has finally dipped below the row of trees over on the horizon to the west of Christie Park. So for the final minutes at least, no more squinting into the setting sun. But you'd have to say, barring a minor miracle, this one's sorted. 3-goal lead for NWS Spirit. We expected a transformation, we've got it. They have looked like a totally different team today. Chinema with a clearance. They hadn't had a win in NPL Women's since August 23 of last year. Which, when you consider 12 league games and a cup game this season, plus the final home and away game last season, it was 14 games since Spirit last had a win. Can Gladesville at least make it nervous at the finish? Carmus breaking through the left side. Cooney Cross following. And Carmus slipped. Ball stays in. No. Referee has whistled play to a stop. It did run long out for a goal kick. Page with a clearance. Edwards. Over the head of Carmus. Flicked on by Sunaga. Pepino trying to get position here. Nice little step and a goal for Gladesville. And they'll grab the ball and run it straight back to the middle. Not to take away from the quality of play there from Gisela Pepino to round Olivia Page and then produce the finish. And so it is 3-1. And we've played 87 minutes. At last, Gladesville find a way through, but they still trail by 2. And the clock is against them. Fuller. Breyer working with Fuller. Throw-in going Gladesville's way. Will they have just a bit more of a spark here late? Now that they've got one of these 3 goals back. Josie Allen losing out to Prakash. Adams has to separate. And the pass across to Sullivan. Tarapetis. Now Adams is the big finish on here. Claire Adams swings in the cross, but straight to Page. Pepino against Prakash and able to roll away with the ball. Players hanging off the last defender here. Over to the right, Roberts. So it's just beaten her as it ran on underneath her potential touch. And out for a goal kick. And when time's the enemy, pretty much everything needs to go right here. By the time this goal kick is taken, will be in the last minute of the 90. No fourth official, so it'll be stoppage time at the discretion of the referee. Robertson strikes the restart. Pepino up in the air. Adams volleying it on, only as far as Chinema. Now India Bryant. Abdul Massi out to the left. Fuller. And then Fuller's pass running down to the keeper. Edwards tried to roundhouse the ball, but just sliced it into the air. Prakash. Breyer. Abdul Massi. Morrow in space. Frankie Morrow tried to cut onto her left, but showed too much of the ball to Kilbride. Pepino's going to hold off the challengers here and now try to release Sunaga down the right. Oh, flags up. Lena Karmas is blowing up in the middle. It looked like a tight call. And Sunaga's not protesting, but Karmas certainly is on her behalf. And we tick into stoppage time at the end of the game. Watching back on YouTube, of course, we only have the one camera, but I think the referee might be vindicated there. we won't have conclusive video evidence regardless, but I think, yeah, the referee might have got that one spot on, in spite of the protestations of Lena Karmas. Chinema. And looking for Prakash. The ball runs out. Morgan Roberts, a long throw in into the attacking half. Flicked on by Sunaga. Now Josie Allen. Can she go? Sees a seam. Tries to find a way through. Karmas takes the ball. Karmas on the turn, blocked away. And Sunaga can't field the ball on the follow-up. And Spirit escaped their defence. They found a way to make it nervous at the end here, Spirit. We've played 1 minute of additional time. Kilbride. Back to Edwards. Abdul Massi pressing all the way up. Dashko out to the right. Roberts blocked. She's going to run onto the ball again. And Tiana Fuller, well, does the team thing, holding play up, committing the foul there. Referee sees no need for a yellow card, though. Play restarts quickly. Karapetis over on the right side now. Shannon plays it to Pepino. Back to Kaylee Shannon. She's going to fancy her chances, and it's just a drifter. An easy catch in the end for Tiana Robertson in goal. Referee doing the count here, just warning Robertson not to give away the corner under the new FIFA rule if you hold the ball for more than 8 seconds. Here's Josie Allen. A good touch to take the ball. Was always under pressure from Cooney Cross and Chinema, and the duo prevail. We've got a Ravens player down on the left side of the pitch, but Spirit are just going to try and take the ball down to the corner here. Morrow cleverly getting it past Kilbride, and eventually the ball finds its way out. I think it is just a cramp because Zoe Karapetis is being helped by Kaylee Shannon over on the left side. So nothing worse than just a quick ailment at the end. And Gladesville aren't going to waste any time. They're going to bring on Angelina Scamadella for barely a minute or two, you'd say. We've played 2 minutes 40 of stoppage time. And so Scamadella comes on, but it might just be a cosmetic marking on the team sheet at the end of the game, given the amount of time left in the contest. As Karapetis hops off to the bench with cramp. Spirit have got the ball down at the end they want. 2-goal buffer. And a set piece here just to wind a little bit more clock. And so the free kick taken short, down to the corner goes Spirit, right under the awning of the clubhouse. And Gladesville clear the ball, but at the expense of a corner. You imagine it's just going to be more shenanigans as soon as the corner is taken. 3.5 minutes of stoppage ticked by, and absolutely no rush to take this corner kick for Spirit here. So the corner is taken, and Ella Abdul-Massi stands over the ball down in the corner. Gladesville get the throw. This will now be 4 minutes of stoppage time played, and the whistle goes. Is the great escape on? Well, Northwest Sydney Spirit are 3 senior points and 12 club championship points closer as a result of their first win of the 2026 season. Even though there was a red card to Erin Pridmore, a 2-goal first half, and that buffer was enough to hold off Gladesville Ravens. A 3rd goal for Olivia Page, and even though there was one pegged back by Gisela Pepino, and plenty of attacking done by Gladesville in this battle of the Christie Park teams, it's Northwest Sydney Spirit who salute for the first time in NPL Women's this season. And after their 23s lost earlier in the day, it is their first competition points in the club championship. They have an almighty task to try to avoid relegation. But if today is anything to go by, the transformation they needed has been instantaneous with all the new faces. And they will be hoping that it sets them up for a big second half of the NPL women's season. For Gladesville, another defeat. And they will spend the weekend in the lower reaches of the table for another weekend and a bit of soul-searching to do after they had so much at the second half, 11 versus 10 today, but couldn't find a way to score earlier than they did. So goals for Sky Halmerick, Ella Abdulmassi and Olivia Page, and just the one goal for Ravens from Gisela Pepino. The full-time score, 3-1 in favour of Northwest Sydney Spirit. Thanks for your company. My name's Teo Pellizzeri, and if you're sticking around, the men's seniors will be up on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel in about 35 minutes. But from me, it's good afternoon from Christie Park on behalf of our broadcast partner Sportscast Australia. Have a good evening, and your full-time score, Northwest Sydney Spirit 3, Gladesville Ravens 1.